Hello there, Melissa Lemon here. I'm glad you're joining me today on my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about panic disorder. And specifically my personal experience with panic disorder, which is not extensive, gratefully, but I would describe panic disorder as something where a person is prone to experience panic, which to me would be very sudden onset, intense emotions and physical sensations, causing great alarm, causing potentially the loss of breath, maybe increased heart rate, and to me, panic disorder is definitely one of the disorders on the anxiety spectrum that is very physical. So I think to me, that's a little bit of the distinction, that it's very physical, maybe not less in the mind or the emotions, but equally physical as the other things as well. So that's kind of been my experience with panic, and I talked a little bit about the misdiagnosis, like being diagnosed with asthma when I think I was really experiencing anxiety, and that was like my first experience with panic, and just having that super intense, like I can't breathe, and I think the biggest thing I'm going to focus on, my experience has been kind of minimal with panic disorder. I've experienced panic attacks maybe 5 to 10 times in my life. It hasn't been like a constant everyday thing like some of the other anxiety disorders that I deal with. And so I thought I would focus a little bit in this video on how to help people who are having a panic attack. I think that is such an important skill, and it's way easier than CPR. I think everybody can learn how to sit with somebody in a panic attack, and maybe not everybody can handle it emotionally. If maybe you have if your boundaries aren't good enough, or if you absorb things really easily, or if other people's emotions really affect you intensely, then maybe it will be difficult for you to sit with somebody in a panic attack. But I think it's actually, I think it's so important that we know this skill, that we know these skills and talk about these things as much as we talk about, I think the thing in the mental health realm, like community-wise, that I've heard the most about in the last many years is suicide prevention, and there's no talk about sitting with somebody in a panic attack a lot of the time. And that suicide prevention is important, but so is sitting with somebody in a panic attack, because we have the power to minimize symptoms really quickly if we know what we're doing. And I would say the most important thing is to I can't number them as the most important thing. They're all important. So one of the important things to remember is not to give advice, not to try to make somebody feel better, not to really say much of anything at all, except for I think one of the best phrases that we can say to instantly diffuse a panic attack is, "I'm here." I have seen that in real time. I have experienced that in real time as somebody has said it to me, but those words are so powerful. I'm here. So huge. When we see somebody in distress, we can kind of, I'm guilty of this literally today, this day. There can be a rush or a hurry to make somebody feel better quickly. In honesty, we're just trying to make ourselves feel better quickly. If we want to be present with somebody, if we want to help somebody in a panic attack, we have to be present enough to forget about if it's making us uncomfortable. The person who's having the panic attack is more important in a situation like that, more important than maybe an appointment that we had, or that whatever. A panic attack is more, I would say, more of an emergency situation than, or can become an emergency situation. And so learning how to diffuse that really quickly is so important. And so saying the right thing and not saying the dumb things, I think, is hugely important. And I apologize for calling them dumb, because we've all done it. And it's just, when we don't have the skills in knowledge and in practice, like, it's hard to do it in real time. So saying, "I'm here," that's honestly the only thing that comes to my mind as being the most effective thing. I think model breathing. I know I've told people to keep breathing, and often that even doesn't help because they're being told to do something and they're in freak out mode, and giving them a list of things to do could potentially cause more overwhelm, more anxiety, more panic. And so I would say model breathing. Be really mindful about your own breathing. If the person is okay with physical touch, is it okay if I touch your shoulder? Like, would physical touch help you right now? Because physical touch is something that can also diffuse things really quickly, but only if they're okay with it. So let's see, what else? Breathing is so important. I think assessing if it is an emergency situation. If somebody's heart is racing out of control and they're unable to breathe and there might be an oxygen deficiency, it might be wise to consider asking for some help, for some reinforcements. If we all know when something turns into an emergency, maybe if somebody loses consciousness or something, when we might need to call 911. But if it hasn't gotten to that point yet and it's still looking a little scary, just definitely seeing if there's somebody else around who can help you identify whether or not it's an emergency situation. Even asking the person, do you feel like this is an emergency? Do I need to call an ambulance? And I think, if they're in a place to make that decision, allow them to make that decision. And if they're not, then being the one to make that decision. So let's see what else is really helpful in a panic attack. There's nothing coming to mind right now. So I just want to express just how important it is to love people who are having these experiences in anxiety. Anxiety is hard enough to deal with without feeling any shame about it or any annoyance from somebody else on the other side who doesn't know how to handle it. It is hard enough, and reactions like that just compound things and make things worse. And so that is something I think is important to remember, is how important it is to love people who are having these experiences and just exercise patience and kindness. It is so important, and it can really make the difference between whether or not anxiety lessens or whether it's compounded and made worse. And just want to send so much love to everybody who experiences these things. I know firsthand it's not fun. And I also wanted to talk about I have a specific day for diagnosis, and so I'm not sure if I want to talk about diagnosis today. Maybe I'll just save that for the diagnosis day. So never mind. So I think that's it for today. A little bit about panic disorder. Let me know if you have any questions about that specifically. I would love to try to answer them. And thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. I'd love to hear about it if it's been helpful for you, or maybe what your experience is, or loved ones, if you feel comfortable sharing. Just let me know. You can always email me at sunriseenergyhealing@protonmail.com. And I would love to hear from you about your experience and if this video helped you. So thanks so much. See you next time. Bye.